I shall end there, but not without telling you, my dear and gentle friend, that I love you madly. And there is never a moment in which I do not adore you.
I cannot explain why I am the happiest of men. I have made my decision. I will never be bound in marriage. It is against nature. I cannot wed the sole woman I would wish to wed, the sole woman who truly loves me. Therefore, I will wed nobody. June 23rd. All is lost, dear father. I am in despair. The king was arrested at Varennes, 16 leagues from the border. Please understand my pain and feel for me. I have time but to assure you of my respect and my love.
June 29th, 1791. I am alive here, my beloved, for the reason to adore you. How concerned I am for you. Do not write to me. This would compromise all of us, and above all, do not return under any circumstances. It is known that it was you who helped us to get away from here, and all would be lost if you should show yourself. We are guarded day and night. I do not care. You are not here. Do not be troubled on my account. Nothing will happen to me. The National Assembly will show leniency. Farewell, the most loved of men. I cannot write any more, but nothing in the world could stop me adoring you up until death. Write to me in our code by post in a double envelope addressed to Monsieur de Goujin, care of Madame Brown. Send letters through your valet. And tell me where to address those I might write to you, for I cannot live without them. Farewell. I am exhausted from writing. I have never written so much, and I am always afraid of forgetting something or making a mistake. We have to give way to the storm. I wish that you do not go to Vienna. You stay near the King of Sweden and that you will be the least visible. In all of this, believe me, my gentle friend, I would like to owe you everything. I have strong reasons to make this request. Our happiness depends on it, since we would have no more happiness if we were separated forever. Farewell. Feel sorry for me. Love me. Above all, do not judge me in all what you will see me doing before you hear me. I would die if I was for a moment disapproved by the one I adore, and I will never stop adoring him. Our situation has changed since the king accepted the constitution. To refuse to do so would have been nobler, but impossible in our circumstances. It is my sad fate to be surrounded by wicked people.
October 10th. I pity you for having to accept the Constitution. But I understand how dreadful your position is, and that you had no alternative. Do you sincerely intend to side with the revolution? Do you not think there is another way? Do you need our help? Or do you wish us to cease all negotiation with the royal courts? Do you have a plan? And if so, what is it? What will become of us, my gentle friend? Without you, there can be no happiness. The world is nothing without you. To see you, to love you, to comfort you is all I desire. Goodbye, my dear and gentle friend. Never will I cease loving you. My dear and gentle friend. My God, how cruel it is to be so near and not to be able to see each other, to tell you how much we love each other, and that I live and exist only to love you. Adoring you is my only consolation. December 5th. I deeply feel the horror of your position, but it will never change without foreign assistance or by excess of the evil. The present evil may give place to another, but you would always be miserable, and the kingdom would fall into dissolution. Never will you win the factious. They will accustom the people to no longer respect you and love you.
December 9th, 1791. I think, like you, that evil alone cannot outdo good. But this is why we need a foreign force. The bishop should have told you already about the problems of writing to me. Only today, Monsieur de la Porte, who shows everything to the king, gave him your packet. The king now has water to bring out writing. Fortunately, he has not had the time, and I spirited away the letter. Therefore, dear friend, for the good of all three of us, beware of what you write, especially regarding political affairs. Goodbye, my friend.
It would be necessary for me to see you. My God, how happy I would be. I would die of the pleasure. I could leave here with the same officer who brought you my letter last July. The pretext would be that I was visiting a gentleman who had kept my horses in saddle all summer. I would arrive in the evening at your apartments and would stay, if possible, until the following evening when I would leave. It seems feasible. It would be during December.
It is utterly impossible that you come at this time. It would compromise our happiness. And believe me when I say it, I have an extreme desire to see you. Sometimes I do not even hear myself, and I am obliged to think before realizing that it is indeed I talking. But what can one expect? How is your health? I wager you do not take care of yourself. You're wrong not to, because you are no longer master of it, and that your entire self is so dedicated to my existence that you must take care of your own health. I have not a moment to myself, what with meetings, writing, and seeing to my children. The latter occupation, though not the least, is my only happiness in your absence. And when I am sad, I take my small son in my arms and kiss him with all my heart. And that comforts me for a moment. Goodbye. And goodbye again. April 19th, 1792. I am dreadfully spied upon at this time. Perhaps I shall no longer be able to write to you. The ministers and the Jacobins will force the king to declare war on the House of Austria tomorrow. They hope this will frighten the emperor and that talks will open within 3 weeks. May God prevent this, so that at last we may be avenged for all the outrages inflicted upon us in this country.
April 24th. I received yesterday the news of the declaration of war, and I am thankful. It is the best and only way to make up the minds of the powerful nations. The Empress of Russia has declared to Vienna her intention of actively intervening in France's affairs, and that she would have the monarchy restored to what it was before the revolution.
Hasten, if you can, the succor which is promised us for our deliverance. I still exist, but it is a miracle. The 20th was an awful day. It was not I who was the chief object, it was my husband's very life they sought to take. They no longer conceal this. He showed firmness and strength, which made an impression upon them for the moment, but our danger may be renewed at any minute.
Your situation fills me with worry. Your bravery will be admired, and the firmness of the king will have an excellent effect. You must continue in the same way, and most importantly, strive not to leave Paris. That is the capital point. It will then be easier to come to you. That is the Duke of Brunswick's plan. He will precede his entry with a strong-worded manifesto in the name of the Allied powers who will render all of France, and notably Paris, responsible for the persons of the royal family.
The lives of the king and queen are in the greatest danger. A delay of 1 day may produce incalculable evils. The manifesto must be sent at once. It is awaited with great impatience. It will rally many persons round the king and secure his safety. The troop of assassins increases daily.
They are working on the manifesto. I have written one which I gave to Monsieur de Limon. It is very good, and such as they ought to desire. Nothing is promised to anyone, no party is affronted, we are pledged to nothing. And Paris is made responsible for the king and family. August 10th. My concern for you is extreme. I do not have a moment's peace. I fear that you were unable to leave Paris.
There would be no further letters between Marie-Antoinette and the man she loved. He did, however, receive a final message from the Queen, scribbled on a piece of card. My heart is all yours.
She for whom I lived, for I have never ceased to love her. She whom I loved so much, for whom I would have given 1,000 lives, is no more. She lives no longer. My pain is so dreadful I do not know how I can go on living.
I wish to gather all the most minute details of this great and misfortunate princess, whom I will love all my life. Everything about her is precious to me. Oh, how I reproach myself for the wrongs I did her. I know now how much I loved her.
She whom I loved so much, for whom I would have given 1,000 lives, is no more. She lives no longer. My pain is so dreadful I do not know how I can go on living.
I shall end there, but not without telling you, my dear and gentle friend, that I love you madly. And there is never a moment in which I do not adore you.